How long has it been? 2 years? Where is it? Where's the other 20 episodes season 2 was supposed to have? How dare the internet lie to me like that? You know what? I'm done. I give up. I'm going home.
Welcome to Jellystone, a peaceful town.
Hey guys, I'm back home.
Standing citizens and characters were
well then, you know the drill by now. In 2021, I made a video ranking the first season of the animated series Jellystone. Then in 2022, I made a follow-up for season 2. Then in 2023, what happened? Well, the show entered a 2-year-long hiatus for no clear reason. For all we know, it could have been one of the many shows that Warner Bros. Discovery cancelled. But to our surprise, on February 22nd, 2024, season 3 was shadow dropped with little to no advertising apart from a single trailer a day before its release. That's fun. You know, I wasn't really planning on reviewing anything Warner Bros. Related this year, because I seriously do not like this company and their idiotic decisions. But Jellystone is an exception. I've been reviewing every season of this show for 2 years now. It's a tradition. I have to keep going. Plus, knowing how Warner Bros. Operates, this feels like one of their many shows they will sweep under the rug and cancel with little to no fanfare. And I will not let that slide. You will know about Jellystone. So besides that, let's get into Volume 3. Yes, the series always used volumes. I would never lie to you. Instead of doing what I did the last 2 times, which is review each episode chronologically then rank them accordingly, let's try something different, because I swear to god I can't seem to get this video to actually work. So you know what? Let's try the other method of ranking that I've seen other people do. I love stealing other people's content. Yay! So yeah, I'll just start with the worst episode, then work my way to the top. Maybe now this video will finally be made. So, without further ado, let's try this. So the plot is relatively pretty simple. Captain Caveman unfreezes these party animals to make a party more exciting, but they have to stop them before they accidentally destroy the world. This is the worst episode of the season. It's just really boring for some reason. The party isn't interesting before or after they get the Cave family in. There are no real stakes apart from the giant sandwich, but even in the show has to do gymnastics to justify why suddenly nobody in the show is hungry, including Yogi. It's just annoying. I'm not gonna call the writers lazy, but I'm just saying, when you have to write out the character whose character trait this entire season is he eats a lot and likes to eat, I don't know, I think you should have done like a rewrite or two. This episode is just really frustrating, man. But hey, with this new style of ranking, we can only get better from here. Jabberjaw, Cindy, and Squidly all try to prove which one of them is actually their favorite character from a TV show they watch. The character, Electra, ends up coming out of the TV to stop their madness by the end of the episode. For the pros, I thought the jokes were really fun, and the set piece for the third act looked really cool. However, to segue into the cons, nothing interesting was ever done with it. You would think they would actually use it for what they set it up as, being this huge stadium that you would have to do a bunch of challenges to kind of rebuild your friendship. You would think that. Instead, the characters just get into a huge fight, so I feel like it was sort of wasted as a set piece. I also found it really hard to care about these characters since they never really interacted before as a friend group. Before or after this episode, we don't really see these characters hang out. So it's just really weird. Like, why is Cindy, this 30-something, hanging out with Jabber and Squidly, who are very much inspired to kind of be around teenagers? Though at the same time, how old are these characters? We're never really given an answer, but like from how they act, they seem teenage, right? But I'm also starting to think she might be a young adult. Oh my god, I'm spiraling, and this episode does not deserve my spiraling. Let's move on. El Kabong is badly injured and a mummy accidentally becomes a substitute for the class he's teaching. That's the plot. I like El Kabong, and that is where my praise ends. Honestly, the plot was just boring, which shouldn't have been a thing since this is a mummy episode. El Kabong being in pain wasn't nearly as funny as the writers thought. The ending was basically a nothing ending with the twist reveal that, oh, the mummy wasn't actually evil. Like, come on, guys. That's just cliche. Can you see why this is number 15? Jabberjaw's Cupid is out of control and is causing her to fall in love with any man she sees, so they try to fix her. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm not a fan of Jabberjaw. Her shtick gets old fast and I was never really a fan of her being obsessed with men 24/7 personality trait, if you can even call that a personality trait. She is not passing the Bechdel test, that's all I'm saying. I'm aware this is mostly a me thing, but yeah, I was never really a fan of this episode. This was never going to be a fan favorite of mine. Though I will give some praise to the runner about Cindy's love life. I found that funny. Some jokes here made me laugh, and I found the Cupid design cute. Okay, here's a fun fact about Cupid. When I was first writing this script, I wanted to see where Cupid originally came from in Hanna-Barbera. Jellystone does not like to make new characters. They instead repurpose old characters from Hanna-Barbera cartoons to use in their show, which is something I really like. So I searched a bunch of Wikipedia articles and fandom pages, trying to find where this dang Cupid came from, and I just could not find it. I couldn't find anything about him besides him being in Jellystone. So I cut my losses and just assumed that Cupid was a new character, a first for this show, which you know, is still really cool all things considered. So anyway, recently I was watching The Jetsons.
My name is Elroy. Do you have a name?
My name Orbity.
You're an Orbity?
Uh-huh.
Well, welcome to Earth.
No wonder I couldn't find the Cupid anywhere. His name isn't Cupid. They took this design and just changed everything else about him besides the character design. I don't know, I thought that was cool. But yeah, besides that, this episode isn't really noteworthy. Moving on. In this riveting episode of Jellystone, Yogi Bear and Boo Boo decide to play hooky and hide out in an abandoned cheese theme park while the ghost chasers mistake them for real monsters and try to kill them. Yay! Okay, I actually really like the ghost chasers in this episode. They, for once, have an actual personality. Good job, Jellystone crew! Not to mention, I really like the one-sided rivalry they have with the Scooby Gang. It's just really funny to me. I also like the reverse of the trope where instead of the protagonist running away from the monsters, you have the monsters running away from the ghost chasers because they're flat out gonna kill them. For cons, I see this episode is a bit boring and nothing really happens. That's just the result of being inside one set location that isn't interesting in general. It's one of those episodes where you feel like your time is being wasted. It reminds you of the Simpsons episodes that just don't have an ending, where they just end for no reason. But yeah, I wouldn't call this a mid-episode, but I wouldn't call this a good episode either. So instead, let's call this an episode. Top Cat's thrown in jail, so his gang has to enact a plan without him. While I adore Top Cat, his gang kind of suffers without him. They even admit so with how they say they need TC in this episode. So in my opinion, I feel like these characters can't really carry an episode on their own. I'm not even saying that as like saying what they were doing in the episode is boring. It's more so, it drags a lot. Despite being 11 minutes, this episode feels like it goes on much longer, and I don't know, man, it's just... Augie, Shag, and Yaki unknowingly take Space Ghost's power bands and give them to Peter, which causes people to mistake Peter for Space Ghost, and he ends up hosting a Q&A while Space Ghost villains unknowingly try to mess up his plans. I think the Q&A stuff was fun, and the ending was stupidly funny with how they gaslight Space Ghost into thinking he was